For this worksheet, I'm going to drop a whole lot of hints and I'm going to give you the final answer. But I want you to try to work through the steps as much as you possibly can on your own. It's an application question, all three of them, and they're very much the kind of questions that you would find in a mathematical literacy paper going forward. So it doesn't mean that people who are choosing maths course shouldn't be able to do this. In fact, their application will only be in grade 12 with a topic that we call calculus. But you're going to struggle with the kinds of words that are used. Okay. What I'm going to do first is make an exam technique suggestion, which is have a read through of the questions and decide very carefully where to start. Let's read them through, and then I'm going to make a suggestion as to where I think you should start with these three questions. A box has a height of 30 centimeters, and the measurements of the base are 1 meter. Okay, that's 100 centimeters. Immediately I'm converting. Times 40. Okay, I'm sort of picturing this box. The box is filled with cans. Oh dear. Cans are cylinders. The box is a real prism. Okay, that's fine. That just means it works as a prism. It's not some kind of pyramid. On a rectangular base, yes. Each can is a cylinder with a radius of 2 and a height of 15. How many cans can fit into the box? Okay, so there's a lot of drawing and thinking that's going to go into that one. Then they want the volume of the remaining space after the box has been filled with cans. Now, if you've got a gut feel for this question and you think you can start with it, go for it. What if it's scaring you a little bit? What if you don't know where to start? Well, I will drop a hint in a moment, but I want to look at the next question. A rectangular tank with a base of 60 times 52, so that must be the length and the breadth of the base, has to be filled with water. The water has to be filled up to a depth, read height, of 35. Perhaps this one seems a whole lot easier. Perhaps this is the place to start to build up your confidence. Question 3 is talking about painting a storeroom. All the walls and the roof have to be painted. How many walls are there in a room? 4. And the roof? Just the 1. There's no windows in the room, but a door with the following dimensions. I wonder whether I should convert the 80 to meters or the 2 to centimeters. Let's see. I'll make a little change there in a moment, but I'm not too sure just yet. The door and the floor do not have to be painted. Okay, so I must not paint the door, which is the thing I'm going to work out now, and the floor. Okay, just a little note. The dimensions of the floor are that, which I must not paint. But wouldn't that be the same as the ceiling? Okay, height of the walls from floor to roof is 2.4. Everything's in meters, so I think with a door, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say the door is actually 0.8 meters times 2. So I've did my conversion there. They want the total surface area to be painted, and then the total cost of the paint. Oh, that's a side swipe. Very Mathslit question, this. We do it a lot in Mathslit because we like to have practical problem solving. Now we get told the cost, and they want the cost of paint. Okay, so in my opinion, from these three questions, I think the first one to answer would be question 2. And then I would go to question 3. And then once I've built up more confidence, go back to 1. So that's the order in which I'm going to drop some hints and give you final answers for. So let's start with question 2. Question 2 is our rectangular tank. Okay, so it is basically a rectangular prism. I really think you need to draw pictures here to be able to get your head around what it is you're being asked. So they tell us that the base of the tank, so I'm going to draw myself a little tank. Okay, 60 times 52. So that's 60, that's 52. And I know that it is a tank, like a fish tank, I'm imagining. Okay, and let's do that. Really, really rough sketch. Okay, and they're telling me that they want to fill it with water. So that's my thinking there, is that that's the little water line there. Okay, and that the water has to be filled up to a depth of 35. Everything's in centimeters, so I don't need to do any conversions. Okay, they want the volume of water in the tank. They want the volume in cubic meters, and they want to know how many liters. I'm going to give you the final answers for each of those, and I'd like you to go and figure out how to get there. For A, it's going to be 109,200 cubic centimeters. For B, it's going to be 0,1092 cubic meters. And for C, it's going to be 109,2 liters. But you need to figure out how to get to those answers. Let's look at question 3. I know that the surface area that needs to be painted is going to be, let me put words down. The surface area is going to be the 4 walls, right? Does the roof get painted? The height of the walls from floor to roof is that. There's no windows but a floor. All the walls and the roof have to be painted. Okay, so it's 4 walls plus the roof, not the floor, right? And then I'm going to say minus the door, because the door is like a little piece that is taken out of one of the walls. So the walls are 2.4 meters from floor to roof, and then each of the walls is actually a different length, because they tell me that the dimensions of the floor are 6 by 8. So actually my 4 walls, there's 2 of them. There's 2 walls that are a length times breadth. Then there's another 2 walls that have different measurements. And I'm going to let you think really hard about that. Okay, the final answer for question A, once you've done all your adding and subtracting, is going to be 113,6 square meters. Keep everything in meters. For question B, the total cost of the paint will be that per liter. And 1 liter is enough to paint an area of 4 square meters. So I want to know how many sets of 4 square meters is inside my answer. So what I'm going to do for B is I'm going to take the 113,6. I'm going to divide that by 4 and I'm going to get a number. And then that number is telling me how many lots of 1 liter I need. One little hint I'd like to drop is that you cannot buy paint in anything less than 1 liter units. Okay, so I just want to say here, you can't buy, for example, 0.5 liters. So what if your answer is like 105 liters, 6? You'd have to buy 107 liters, 106 liters, because the 6 doesn't exist. So you'd have to get 1 extra, even if it was like 2. So you must round up to whole numbers when you're dealing with a number of liters. Okay, your final answer for this one is going to be 1,006 Rand 30. Let's go look at question 1. Question 1 is definitely the hardest one. Question 1, you are going to need to draw a very comprehensive picture about this box. I'm going to draw an aerial drawing of the box. And I'm just going to drop some hints as to what it needs to look like. The box has a height of 30, so, it goes up 30 centimeters. Fine. But the base is 1 meter, so 100 times the 40. And I'm going to be putting cans in it. So I'm going to be putting cans in next to each other. All right. How much is that? Well, that's got a radius of 2 centimeters. So actually the diameter of each of these cans is 4 centimeters. How many of them can we fit in 100? And how many of them can we fit in 40? Finally, you've got a height. You've got this box, and it is, I'm drawing it from a different angle now, it is 30 centimeters high, and these cans are 15. So the cans are going to be sitting next to each other like that, okay? Right up close to each other. And you can stack how many layers on top. The final answer for this question is 500 cans. Let's see if you can figure out your own way of getting there. The second question is asking the volume of the remaining space. The volume of space left behind is going to be the volume of the whole box, which is the rectangular prism, minus the volume of the 500 cans. So you can do this question even if you didn't get question A correct, because you've got the answer. So I'm going to remind you that the volume of box is length times breadth times height, and the can is a cylinder. So that's pi r squared h, and there will be 500 of them. Your final answer here is 25752,22 cubic centimeters of space left behind once you've put all of the cans inside the box. Good luck with these questions. They are there to challenge you. I hope you enjoy the feeling of your brain being a little bit stretched with this one.